Welcome to Story Route Zero.
This is a podcast where friends gather to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the strange worlds of video games. We often don't know where we're going, but that's half the fun. Come on the journey with us. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute0. You can send us an email at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. That includes questions, concerns, comments, complaints, pet pics. Send us some recipes. Send us some stories about your day. We're going to listen.
Podcast, start your engines. We have liftoff. Let's have a journey.
Came to the door, but she wouldn't see me, so I turned away to leave. She leaned out the window and said, "Where you're going? Now I have no time to grieve." Welcome to Story Route Zero, episode 39, I believe. What is it, Jason? 38? I thought 37 was the game club.
So that would make this 38.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I've been gone.
I mean numbers, people. Numbers.
Anyway, this is Story Out Zero. We talk about video games. My name is Matthew Keel, and I can't count anymore. We got some
Anymore? That implies that you actually could count in the first place.
I could at one point.
Oh, okay.
I mean, right. I did go back to college, and I had to put some numbers together to get through it. So, especially when your degree is as physics heavy as mine is, you have to know it at some point. I just don't know it anymore. I forgot it all. That was my co-host Moose Cruel, Mouth from the South. How are you?
Doing well, man. Doing well.
And then I unfortunately I had to start with him because he was talking, but Mama's got $700 to burn, so she's gonna buy a new console. Michaela, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Told you I was gonna intro you that way.
I was not ready for it, but yeah.
That's fine.
I mean, she's got her pre-order. she's ready for Demon Souls.
Added melody of memory, let me tell you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus freaking Christ.
Not even 2 minutes in. Here we are. Jason Marshall, how you doing?
Doing well.
Whiskey.
It's excellent.
What are you drinking?
Applejack.
Nice.
Lard and Company. Laird.
Lard.
I was gonna say lard and company.
I can't count.
That's
Jason can't read.
That's got extra flavor. It's got the fatty bits.
Laird. From New Jersey too.
Ooh, very nice.
So
very nice.
Completing the Nerds Gone Platinum Full House that we've established, the most platinum of all time, Jeff Glasson. How are you?
And speaking about my hair in that way.
Ain't nobody throwing that out there.
Oh, she's a man, is it?
How you been?
Doing all right. Hanging in there. Still vertical.
Cool. Still walking, still talking, still not coughing?
Yep.
Glad to hear it. So, Jeff, you're the guest here. So how was your weekend?
Weekend was good.
Cool.
Yeah, just still getting out a little bit. Of course, still working from home, so I try to get outside and see that great light ball in the sun, in the sky there, the sun. Mm-hmm. Get some vitamin D every once in a while.
Cool.
But yeah, occasional restaurant, occasional brewery.
Wearing your mask?
Of course.
Attaboy.
Yeah, nothing terribly exciting, but yeah, getting out and about whenever I can.
Glad to hear it. Moose, how was your weekend? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Cool. Transplant mass hole. Any highlights this weekend?
I also went outside, saw sunlight for a little bit, went on a walk, had a 3-hour Zoom call with friends from college.
Nice.
Yes, a 3-hour tour.
No, 3 hours Zoom call with friends. And we're at that stage where one of them is a mom now. So there was a baby on the Zoom call. And it's like,
yeah, of course.
Oh, no, are we that old now? Okay. And
Yeah,
I mostly tried and failed
She
to
says
watch
that. And
because I didn't have the right channels to watch the games I wanted to watch this weekend.
That's what the internet's for.
I tried, and it's just like, so I'm a big Clemson fan.
Sure.
So duh. And the last year, the ACC started their own network because, there's like different conferences will have their own freaking networks. And now the ACC has its own network, and my cable provider does not even provide it no matter what package you have.
Okay.
So it's just like this non-existent network. So when the games are on that, I can't watch it. And the CBS in my region was showing the Chiefs and the Chargers, and I wanted to watch the Texans and the Ravens. So I was shit out of luck on that one too. So I ended up watching the Pats.
I just sent something into our chat, so that's for you for the future.
Thank you very
I
much.
just want you to know.
I just use like Reddit and shit for that.
No.
I want you to know that when, I'm in the South, and ACC games, football games are on all the time, and I'm like, y'all motherfuckers just need to show basketball. Y'all suck at football, except for Clemson.
Except for Clemson.
They run the goddamn table, and I'm like, why is the Wake Forest Vanderbilt game on? Nobody cares. Y'all need to show basketball, and football needs to be everything else. SEC.
Well, you don't like the Vandy Wakey Bowl?
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's funny to me that I'm like, I don't want, like, even if I can watch the ACC, I'm like, I don't want to watch the football games.
Some teams used to be good, like Florida State used to be good, but used to be does not mean right now.
Right, they are not as good as they used to be.
No, they've had some rough years, but Clemson was playing Citadel on Saturday, and I guess I didn't really miss much because it was 49-0 before halftime.
I was gonna say they probably crushed Citadel. Like
it was 49-0 before halftime. So, yeah.
All right. Anyways,
moving on.
Sorry, man.
Reel it in, sports dorks.
I know. Sports ball. Sorry, guys.
You want to talk about Blaze Ball while we're here?
No.
I could bore you to fucking death if you'd like. Let me tell you some shit that's happened the past couple weeks. Jason Marshall, how you doing?
Speaking of sports, well, Saturday we took the girls apple picking, which was
cool.
Nice. Although the little one wants to walk everywhere, but the ground's not even, so there was a lot of walk, fall, walk, fall, walk, and then
fall, walk.
And
then what about the baby?
Get him,
Too much Applejack.
Get him.
Whiskey in that guy's coffee mug.
Watched the Notre Dame game. That was a blowout. They were up 40-something to nothing at half. Ended with a shutout. And then today was interesting. Aria had her first virtual primer, so it's a practice in case they have to go virtual. Yeah. Fuck homeschool. Holy shit. She had a half day, and we're sitting there. I'm like, I'm going to be drunk by 10 a.m. This is terrible. This is kudos to the parents who are home the whole day with their kids, because half a day was brutal. I mean, granted, she's in kindergarten. I don't know how you expect a kindergartner to sit on a Zoom call long enough to learn anything.
I mean,
the parents learn patience. That's it. It's the only learning that happens.
They make whiskey called Patience. I'm familiar with that brand.
I'm sure it's a Guns N' Roses brand. Duff needed a little side project after Velvet Revolver went belly up.
Yeah, so they went back to Guns N' Roses and did Chinese Democracy. How'd that turn out for everybody?
I just want y'all to know the 7:30 show is completely different than the 9:30 show.
Yeah.
How was your weekend, Matt?
Now that I'm thinking about it, I really don't remember a lot of
Hookers and blow.
No, not this weekend.
See?
Not this
It's not a bad default.
Not this weekend. Reba's like, we gotta start saving the adoption. You gotta stop.
We gotta dial it back in, buddy. We gotta dial it back in.
So I mean, work on Saturday was really busy. Had to go into the OR for a pelvic reconstruction on a COVID positive patient. So that was fun. Let me tell you, that was a fun 6 hours.
Doesn't sound it.
No, I mean,
Negative Ghost Rider.
I mean, it's one of those things that's really cool to see and really cool to be involved in. But when you're done, you are just exhausted because you've had to just be focused for 6 hours.
Stress.
Other than that, played some games. And Reba and I went on a bit of a drive yesterday. What did we do yesterday? I forgot what we did.
Hookers and...
No, it wasn't the hookers and
that
blow.
are listening and can't see at home. She is standing right off screen.
What?
Just so you know.
We went to Wizard. We got hookers and blow at Wizard.
See?
I mean,
fucking Reba is awesome. She loves hookers and blow. See?
I mean, I blacked that. Was mine laced? I don't remember.
You were looking at that snake.
Probably.
Oh yeah, the snake. Oh, the snake must have got me then.
She had to cool you down, man. She was like,
No,
"We're doing
no.
this," and you were like, "What
No.
do you mean we're doing this?" And boom.
We were walking Bagel and Wissahickon, and I saw a poisonous snake, and I'm like, "We gotta go." Other than that, I actually played games Saturday night, which doesn't happen as often as I'd like, but I will talk about that a little bit later. What do you say we go to games, everyone?
Yeah.
Jeff, you're the guest. What have you been playing?
I have been mainlining Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning.
Where are you at?
About 25-ish hours in.
Hookers and blow.
There are no hookers and blow in Amalur.
Having a great time with it. So just for context, I did play a very small amount of it, I think on Xbox 360 back in the day. I almost got a job at 38 Studios, but dodged that bullet, thankfully. But I'm really enjoying it. I see exactly what they were going for in terms of doing the single player version and hoping to parlay that into the MMO. But yeah, they did a fantastic job with just the environments and the differences between the regions and transitioning from one environment to another. Combat is great as always, having a good time with it. Still rather buggy here and there. They have been patching it. There's been 5 patches out so far, including one that fixed the push square reported game-breaking bug, which actually was related to leaving loot in the environment. So if you didn't take all the items off of a dead body or in the chest, all the extra loot you're laying around there just piled up, and eventually would cause the game to wig out. But they fixed
nothing
it.
to do with the inventory space that you have abundance of. Or anything.
Speaking of abundant inventory space, the second game that I've been playing has been Wasteland 3 over on Game Pass. And that has unlimited inventory. It's fantastic.
Nice.
Absolutely love the game. I actually had started it and made the bad decision of trying to start it like right at the end of a night when I was tired. And I had no idea what type of game it was either. I just saw a bunch of people in the various Facebook groups, gaming groups, raving about it. So I was like, oh, I got to check this out. And I had no idea that it was like a turn-based, strategy type game.
Tired means AKA drinking.
Okay. No, not really. I was really tired. And, didn't know it was kind of XCOM-ish. So I kind of dismissed it, but then watched a bunch of videos from ESO on YouTube, and he changed my mind, and I went back to it, and it's been fantastic. I'm having a blast with it. Highly recommend it. It's on Game Pass, so if you got an Xbox, go for it.
Or even PC,
regret it.
right?
Not on PC, unfortunately. It's just Xbox Game Pass, not on.
Okay, all right. Never mind.
Although I would say the one downside of playing it on Xbox is that it truly is a user interface for PC. It would be, I think, quality of life in terms of navigating, selecting things, and engaging in the combat stuff would be way better on PC. But it's serviceable with a controller. But other than that, Writing is fantastic. Story is fantastic. Get to it.
Cool.
And that's it.
Michaela, how's Persona?
I did not play much Persona this week because all the time I would have been playing Persona, I dedicated to Hades.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
But I will reserve talking about Hades and instead.
Why will we reserve talking about Hades?
That's our.
Make the announcement. Make the announcement,
Do it,
Michaela.
Michaela.
Too much pressure. Hades will be our next Game Club game
Yes, it will be.
because it got shadow dropped on Thursday and everybody decided to play it. So it made sense.
Yes.
And it's amazing and hopefully will not cause any further breakage to the podcast.
No,
Yeah,
no.
let-
You know what? We're coming after you, God, or gods, or all of you that want to break it.
She's right though. Last time we kind of talked about a game club.
It
We had to
broke the podcast.
we had to re-record the episode.
All right.
So
And there
So
were
we're
two
done.
Jasons. Slipped
What
into the
else have
multiverse.
you been dabbling in?
Yes, so I didn't play much
Look at
Persona,
some
but I
more.
did start Wargroove last week because that was in my backlog and it was before Ori and Hades Shadow dropped on the Switch, and then I spent all my money on it.
I hear that is really good. I heard really good things about Wargroove.
Yeah, I'm always looking for good turn-based strategy games. I'm a big fan. I like regular turn-based games, but I hadn't always played a ton of SRPGs. Although this one's not really RPG, it's just more strategy than anything else. And I was able to get a physical copy of this one because they released it originally. It was digital only, obviously, and I have a hankering for physical games, so I do have the physical for Switch.
Just a little place in the heart. Just a little bit.
Yes,
Physical games.
I love it. Physical ownership, video game preservation, I don't know, stuff.
Well, I mean, it's the whole thing. Like, we talk, digital only or disc, and it's like, well, what if they stop selling it on the store? And you're fucked.
Yep.
You know, I mean, anyways, continue. Sorry.
Yes, valid arguments all around, and like collecting stuff. And I also always like to support indie devs. So my Switch has been an indie machine lately. So if I open my Switch, my home screen, the only titles you're gonna see are indie games. It's Wargroove, Hades, Ori, Slay the Spire, Crosscode, indie machine this year. And so Wargroove was in the backlog, and I had some I was worried a little bit about this one because I was mentioning before the show my favorite part about strategy games like your Fire Emblems, your Valkyria Chronicles, is how attached you get to the characters, and so you worry about like the permadeath mechanics in those games. You don't want to lose people. I mean, there are some that you don't like, but you still don't want to lose people. This one, there's like a couple main characters, but otherwise most of the players on your board are just units. They're like knights and swordsmen and pikemen and whatever. And I was worried that I wasn't going to be as into it because I didn't have any attachment to the characters, but the game actually has a really clear personality from the moment you load it up. So that was really great to be surprised by because I went into this fairly blind. And of course it has a dog. So obviously 10 out of 10 immediately.
Can you pet the dog?
I don't think you can pet the dog. You can pet the dog in Hades, and I tweeted about that today.
9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
We're taking one off.
We'll take one off, but there is a
drop
dog.
it down. Okay.
And so yeah, there is some voice acting in the game. Wasn't expecting that. It's just kind of like soundbite stuff. The characters definitely come through for the cast that's there. The villains are very villainy. And I don't know, it's quirky is the word I think I'm looking for. And it's a fairly straightforward strategy game where like this type of unit is stronger against this type of unit and vice versa. And terrain has effect on what your defense stats are and stuff like that. And you get ratings. The one thing I really like is you can immediately, after you finish a battle, replay it to get a better rating. You can have up to like 3 stars based on the difficulty and how well you perform. So I do like that you can immediately jump back in and try to do better. Yeah. Thumbs up for Wargroove so far.
Cool. Anything else you'd like to talk about?
I don't think so.
Okay. Moose, how about you? After your drink, of course.
I swear to God, Risk of Rain 2.
Pretty good, isn't it?
So I've been playing on the Switch, and this is one of those ones where I got duped. And they were like, when the game was announced, they were like, it's coming to Switch. No word of the other consoles, but it might have happened. And then like day one, I bought it on the Switch, and then they were like, oh, it's also on PS4 too. So I bought it on PS4 as well. Running the train with the engineer. So I think you have to beat 30 teleporters. So you have to complete 30 teleportation levels, whatever. And you get the engineer, and that mother trucker.
Then, right?
Yeah, that mother trucker is awesome. So there's like some trophies I was looking at before I started playing as him, and I'm like, how am I going to get these? Like, you have to kill the teleporter boss in 15 seconds. I nuked the boss in like 10 with the engineer. It is like, so his main weapon is shooting grenades out. So you can charge up to 8, shoot them out. You have a force field that you could put down and get behind, so incoming damage doesn't affect you. There is also turrets. You could drop up to 2 turrets. And like, I have gone the furthest I feel in any of my playthroughs with the engineer than I ever did with the commando. Not that the commando does not have a special place in my heart, because the commando, I feel, is more versatile as far as maneuverability and being able to escape trouble, whereas in the engineer is kind of like, I have to survive trouble. That makes sense, So like, you're just in there, you're throwing down your bubble shield. Also landmines. So he has landmines that he could throw down that do like 100% damage if they get set off. But if they actually get to like, quote unquote, cook, like they do like 3-4 times the damage. So like, you're just sitting there, like you'll come up on a teleport and you'll be like, all right, let's go. Drop 2 turrets, drop all your landmines, and then hit the teleporter, and you're good to go. So yeah, it's a blast. I love Risk of Rain. I highly recommend it. It's gotten rave reviews. It's a roguelike. So surprise to those that don't know, it kind of falls in the category of Hades. But I feel like it is like, it's like Call of Duty Zombies, where it's like, I don't know if you win, you just keep doing better. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, the good thing about it is it's also like Dead Cells, Jason. And Jason and I have played, and we've had a blast playing it. And you and I have played, Matt.
I've played with both of you, and
you've carried us. It's like the 3 of us have had a blast playing the game, and it is just like, all right, let's get back into it. So like, it's good enough to the point where like it provides a challenge, but not enough to the point where you're like, I don't want to play this ever again. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, okay, I see how we lost. I need to move around a little bit more. I need to like hit my specials a little bit more and run and gun. And so I got like, I played with the engineer for the first time. Yesterday would be Sunday. Yeah, because today's Monday. I got like 5 trophies off the back of running that first run with the engineer. And I was like,
that's awesome.
Maybe the platinum's in sight, maybe.
Did you get to the level we made it to? We meant to tell Matt about with those giant assholes.
I can't remember those, but
they wouldn't die. They just kept teleporting.
Yes. Oh, yes. The Imp Lord.
Oh my God, Matt.
So, and I put that in our chat. I was like, "Fuck the Imp Lord." And
I don't know why, but I thought that was a Hades thing. I'm like, where's this Imp Lord?
No. So basically, the Imp Lord is just this little like fat, like, I don't know, whatever, and he teleports
Tyrion Lannister
around. Yep. And then you're like basically trying to kill it, and it just doesn't die. And yeah, it can nuke you in a heartbeat. But like I said,
what's that one teleporting boss from Remnant?
Oh, remember when it broke?
Yeah, where it was just blinking in the same spot. So we're just like, okay, we just gotta shoot it.
We're just gonna shoot it right here.
There was a boss that teleports around the room, and one of our runs, it just, like you said, it kept blinking in the same spot. So it would
Obliterated.
disappear, and it just appeared same spot, and it was just like, huh, well, this will be easy.
Mhm.
I mean, I was playing like I've played Risk of Rain before. I played it when it dropped. What, last year?
Yeah.
Was it?
Well,
Yeah.
it was still I mean, they released it, but it was still technically early access.
Well, it was early access on PC.
No, well,
Yes.
but when they released it on other consoles, it was still the same thing that was on
Really?
PC. They just kept
I didn't know
patching
that.
it. Yeah,
But
I didn't-
anyways.
honestly, when they said it was 1.0 finally, that was like, wait a minute, it wasn't 1.0 before?
Right.
All
So
right,
like I'm
fine.
sitting here and I'm playing with the engineer and I'm like, what is this? Where am I? I have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? Like worlds I haven't seen before. Bosses I haven't seen before. The goddamn magma worm. That's the boss I got in 15 seconds. So
Okay.
like you just have to like basically like nuke it. And but anyways, it's been a lot of fun. I have it on Switch and PS4. I don't play it as much on Switch because I'm addicted to a little game called Hades, which I was playing before the show. But I am playing Risk of Rain 2 on my PS4. Like I fired it up and just have been like nonstop going, and it's been a lot of fun. And the sad thing is I've been playing it on Drizzle, which is like basically the game just keeps going until you die. And so it's like it starts at like easy, then it goes to medium, then it goes to hard, then it goes to impossible. Then the next stage is I see you. And then the next stage after that is like ha ha ha, and the ha ha just repeats until you die. Like the game is like, yeah, it is aggressive. And so you're just like, I'm like, I have made it to the I see you stage, and then the impossible stage, well, the haha stage, and it just keeps going. The HA just keeps on going until eventually like you die. And I've died because of stupid stuff, because I'm like, oh, I got enough power-ups. I got enough power-ups to take this boss on. Nope. No, boss just owns you in like 2 seconds.
Yep.
So, but it's a great game. I highly recommend. It'll be on sale during a holiday sale this year. Pick it up. It's a third-person shooter, roguelike, and it's just a lot of fun with people. Like, you know, Matt and Jason and I have had a lot of fun playing together. I've also had fun playing solo. You know, like a lot of games, you're kind of like, I don't want to play this solo.
Got a
But like,
cool
no.
ass soundtrack too.
Yeah, the soundtrack is really good.
Rips.
Yeah, I highly recommend. Like it. So like it's a little bit not necessarily off-putting. You don't notice it at first, but like when you're playing the game, you're like, "What's the soundtrack like?" Like you'll hear it in the background and be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Like it's just nice and subtle, and it's not like it doesn't make you anxious as to what's coming. And it doesn't make you like too relaxed. It's just a nice soundtrack going in the background that just kind of like you pick up on eventually. So, but anyways, Risk of Rain 2, play it.
Cool. Mr. Marshall.
I
How's
mean,
Azeroth?
it's good. I mainly played Kingdoms of Amalur. I'm 15 hours in. I have not done a main quest.
I think that's about. I think I'm like 10 hours in and still haven't done one either. So yeah.
What are those
Crazy,
for?
crazy.
Jeff told me that the other night. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, Jason's not playing the main quest yet. I'm like, are we surprised?
I'm like 4 zones over. Like,
I'm having fun just beating stuff up with the chakras,
Yeah.
man. That's so much. It's so good.
and like I went full finesse, so all stealth when I can. And the other night I stealth killed a brownie. I kind of felt bad at first, but then it was just fun. You literally sneak up behind it, grab its foot, and just stab it.
Yep.
And next one.
Yeah, keep doing that, and the Girl Scouts will come after you.
They sell cookies, not brownies.
You get that joke, did you?
But yes,
Brownies is before Girl Scouts.
Saturday
Oh,
night.
brownies are the Cub Scouts of Girl Scouts.
That's
Okay,
right.
got it. Yeah, I
Jason
forgot
will
about
soon know.
But But yes, Saturday night I got to raid for the first time in about 10 or 11 years in Warcraft. And I got an achievement that I've been hunting for about 11 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was, you had to beat this raid boss at level without being over the level. Like there was restrictions to it, even though the content was available. So it was interesting joining this random group of people that I've never played with and facing this raid boss. Moose, did you play Old War at all?
Yeah.
Tell us about it, Jay.
So that was fun. I got a cool title out of it next to my name. I just
What's your
scroll
title?
around the cities with it like a badass. Do a slow strut.
What's your title?
Herald of the Titans.
Herald of the Titans?
That's a good title.
I thought
It's
his
not bad.
title was Badass with a Slow Strut.
I mean, that
No,
that would be cool.
It goes good with my character. Hookers and Blow, Herald of the Titans.
See.
No, it was
guys!
It was a lot of fun to do, but I do know that I'm not going to raid, which is something that kind of stopped me from playing, but I know I don't have to because the commitment for this one, which was simple, and it was one boss multiplied by 10 times. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Fair.
Being on a schedule to play a game, no thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it.
Cool.
Did you play a video game this week?
I did, actually.
Was it
did.
Blazeball?
That's not a video game. That's a board
I
game.
did play Blazeball.
But it's online.
But that's not what I'm going to talk about. I played Game Club Game and Game Club Game Whips. I played on Saturday night. I got home and I was going back and forth with a friend on Twitter, and I just said, "Hey, what are you doing right now? You want to play something?" Just because I don't get to talk to him all that often. His name's Julian. Jason, he was in our stream that one day. And he and I got into a party, and I said, "Did you ever buy Remnant?" He said, "Yeah, I bought Remnant." I said, "We're going to play Remnant." And then another buddy, T-Man, who hosts Make Me a Gamer podcast, which is a really good podcast where one dude is making the other dude play games who doesn't really consider himself a gamer. It's really fun. He jumped in, and I'm like, "Do you have Remnant?" He's like, "Yes, I have Remnant." I go, "We're playing Remnant." He's like, "All right." So we had to kind of coach Julian through the tutorial, and then we ran through Earth. We ran through the first dungeon of Rom, and T-Man actually took one of the teleporters in the labyrinth and immediately died.
I saw that.
so he's like, he steps into the teleport. He's like, "So I'm dead," and we're like, "What did you do?" He's like, "I don't know." Did you take it? So we took a screenshot of me doing this over T-Man's body. And it was fun. So then we started sort of riffing on that Breath of the Wild looking giant dude saying, "Hey, you can manifest all these, elaborate things happening right underneath our feet. How about you manifest a guardrail so we don't die, asshole?" Osh is going to be in here in a minute. So we started doing that. That was fun. But the game I'm going to spend the most time talking about is the new game that came out from Derek Yu called Spelunky 2.
Uh-oh.
Now, Spelunky fucking 2.
Oh, we know.
When this was announced, I was very happy, but I don't.
He had to change his shorts.
I really try not to get out of my mind with excitement because I know everything is a potential letdown. But there have been plenty of rave reviews written by better people than myself about this game, and this game is worthy and of that and so much more. I think that I forget the person who wrote the review, but it was for PC Gamer. It was for Eurogamer, and he calls Spelunky 1 one of the truly Tetris tier video games, which is true in my opinion. I think that there are games that emphasize mechanics in a way that is very, very difficult to surpass and sometimes even articulate. Like, I'm not really good at articulating my love for Spelunky. I just say I love it, and I could talk stories about it forever. But Spelunky 2 is to Spelunky what, like, it shows the possibility of a Tetris 2 if there were ever to be one. It builds on it. It builds on Spelunky 1. It is, I mean, you step in, and the only thing that really changes is where Spelunky 1, Spelunky HD kind of looks like Super Mario 3 if it were made in like 2010, 2012. This is Super Mario World. The pixel art is better. The mechanics virtually the same. The real difference is Derek Yu messes with the math of the game in a way that does not fuck it up. While people could go into Spelunky HD, get to that first level, get to like 1, 2, 1, 3, die a bunch of times and say, okay, it's just changing and I can't really get past it. I am back where I was in 2013 on my PS3 with Spelunky HD. And it is, if this game has given me anything, it's been the ability to experience one of my favorite games of all time for the first time again.
A rare dragon to chase.
It is. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the. It's an achievement because like you step in. Ultimately, it's just like, oh, I've got a whip. I've got bombs. I've got ropes. I'm doing the same stuff, but there are little tweaks. Like, I could get angry about some of the things I would do in Spelunky HD, and I don't really pull them off here. Going into that would take a long time, and it would bore you almost as much as the Blazeball conversation. Mm-hmm. But it's not like people say about Dark Souls 2, where they fucked with the formula and failed in a lot of ways. This is Derek Yu understanding what made Spelunky great and understanding how to build on top of it. And the simple thing of creating a back area that you could take doors to is kind of mind-blowing. On top of that, it changes some of the ideas of platforming. Like in Spelunky 1, you could grab onto ledges. But there's fall damage, so if you drop too far, you take a hit. Well, there are sometimes the level generates where there's a giant drop, but there's little ledges along the way. Now, if you're coming to Spelunky 2 for the first time, you're going, wow, this is just basically be unfairly, taking hit points off of me. But when you realize you could just fall, hit a ledge, and you grab it, all of a sudden you're not losing life. And that's something that Spelunky 1 didn't really do, but this game seems to do pretty regularly as sort of a way to teach a lesson. Also, the first area is scary in a way that the second area of Spelunky 1 was. There are new enemies in terms of the yellow lizards and the moles. The yellow lizards, can attack, but they attack from a distance. But their movement but if you're not ready for their movement, they get you every time. The moles are fucking assholes because they burrow into the ground, and they will, as long as it's actual like dirt ground, like they're not going to go through wood, they're not going to go through stone, just like real life. But they will just sort of burrow around and then decide to show up behind you, or show up underneath you and pop you into spikes or whatever. The amount of chaos in this game that you just had, the amount of the amount of mental acrobatics I'm doing just in the first area is the absolute joy of this game for me. It was when granted, with Spelunky 1, I bounced off of it really quick because I didn't have people I was playing. I didn't have people I was playing that were playing the game with me, not like co-op situation, but like it's good to have people that you know playing the game, so you can just sort of talk ideas or even watch streams. So I bounced off of it, and then I started watching streams of it, and then that was how I learned some tricks, and then went back and started learning other things. And then when Doug Wilson wrote his fantastic piece on the solo eggplant run, when it happened, that was when I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna fucking beat this game. I eventually bounced off of it, and then at some point in 2018, I decided I was going to stream until I got the secret ending of Spelunky, and Moose was on stream for that. I am at a point in this game where I don't want to learn anything unless I do it. And I hope that I can just have a crew of people that I can talk with about figuring things out in this game, because there's a ton of it already. And I've been out of the first world and into the second. But the cool thing about it this time around, there are mini bosses, and at the end of each world, there's a branching path. Now, I don't know how many paths that branch because I haven't been past the second world. But holy shit, this game, this game is, it's everything I've ever wanted in a sequel to something I've loved.
Awesome.
That's good. Yeah. I was fearful for you when I saw Spelunky 2 being announced. And I was like, man, how's it going to live up to the hype? Will it be able to? Is he going to be able to enjoy it? And that's good news.
Oh,
you know?
I mean, Derek Yu has decided, just the fact that shopkeepers are way harder to rob this time out. Like there's
like, fuck y'all.
He's like, yo, you gotta put some respect on these shopkeepers from now on. And they're bigger dicks this time out. Oh, and there's incidental explosions that happen all the goddamn time. Like, let's say you happen to find a shotgun, and you're decided, okay, I'm going to rob the next shop I see. But if there's a rocket or a jetpack or any sort of backpack that has, I don't know, electricity or bombs in the shop, if you shoot into that shop, it's blowing up. So not only are you going to piss the shopkeeper off, but you're also going to ruin any chances you have already of getting what's in there. Mm-hmm. So everything has a consequence, and I fucking love it. Yeah. It is like I had to take Bagel to the vet today, but after
Is he all right?
Oh yeah, he's fine. He's
good.
Fine.
Hey,
he had
just making sure.
He's good.
Out there.
Last week underneath his right eye he was swelling, and it got to the point where like his right eye was half shut. I'm like, okay, we gotta take him to the vet. We took him to the vet last week, and they gave him some clindamycin, which is oral abscess territory, and that's exactly what it is because it's gone now. We just did follow up today. But after I got home and before I had to go pick up Reba from work, I streamed for like 2.5 hours, and I got to the black market for the first time, and that's as far as I've been. Now, if we're doing the math, I got to the black market quicker than I did in Spelunky 1 by about 2.5 years. So clearly I've learned something in my time with Spelunky 1.
Mm-hmm.
But the coolest thing about this, and this is, I mean, I could probably wax poetic about it for hours. I'm going to try not to bore you guys, but the tutorial gives you background. So when you do the tutorial, you're finding pages from a journal, and the main Spelunky character this time is Anna, and she's the daughter of the main character of Spelunky 1. And it goes through, it gives all the playable characters names, which didn't happen the first time out. It names the dog. The dog's name is Monty.
Nice.
And
Solid name.
yeah, it's a solid name for a dog.
Yeah,
this time out, they've ditched the idea of damsels, just strictly for pets. I use the dog because I'm a dog person, but you can also have a cat or a gerbil.
No. You can't.
Both of which I will say, really adorable. The cat is orange and white. It's very adorable. I gotta hand credit where it's due. But I do like the story and how it's your parents basically saying, so we're here. You can come find us, but take your time and enjoy yourself. And it was kind of like where Bastion's platinum trophy was, you done good, and that was something that I needed. I did not expect to get that sort of need met from the beginning of Spelunky 2. And after about 4 or 5 days with it, actually no, it's almost a week now. Moose, you were right when you basically said this is your game of the year, isn't it? Granted, I knew it was probably going to be on the list, but I did not expect it to just stamp its ticket to that spot this fast. And I think,
Well, that makes me happy for you, because
Yeah.
I know how much you loved Spelunky, so knowing that it's that high on the list, it's rare that as a gamer you get a sequel that lives up to the hype of the previous game, and so it's just very awesome that this one lives up to your expectations and exceeds them.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Me too. Thank you. But yeah, I think that more often than not, sequels are just, the same thing as before, tiny refinements, but more of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely is it the right additions and the right direction. And this kept everything from the first one and made it more, I'll say it made it more perfect. Like this, I could not have been happier being so stupid in a game world than I have been in Spelunky 2. So I'm gonna stop myself from going further because some shit happened this week.
A lot of shit happened this week, especially today.
Especially today.
Shit.
But so we're gonna go chronologically, and I think the first thing to happen would have been Sony's thing.
Yeah, Sony did it. Sony did a thing.
And it was Thursday, right?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. I honestly, I'm like, man, how long ago was it? Like, I could not actually remember.
It never stopped. That's why.
Yeah. I mean, so Sony did a thing. Jeff Keighley clarified the thing.
Which is stupid, ridiculous.
Well, it's just kind of like, come on, man. Like, everyone always, look, it's like Jeff Keighley has done what he's done to get where he is. Good on Jeff Keighley. I will give that to him. But also, like, there are plenty of times as as a fan of games and gaming media, where you see plenty of people just lob like reviews and review scores that they don't like, oh, that's because they're on the take. That's because they're on the take. That's because they're on the take. Jeff Keighley looks like he was in somebody's back pocket with this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying he is, because I truly do not believe he is, but it's just like you're painting a picture here. Anyway, let's do this Sony thing. Jason, take it away.
Let's stick to the positives.
There's a lot of positives, at least.
There was, yeah.
So we got another Sony PlayStation showcase, which went 50 minutes, and there was no price.
No, Jim Ryan said it, didn't he?
No, I'm kidding. We didn't get the launch, but anyway.
And I do believe we need to get.
We got a price.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and before we go any further, we need to give Michaela some credit, because I believe she called it.
Yeah.
As I usually do.
Okay. Then.
Are you on the take, Michaela?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
That's why I have so much money to burn.
Michaela humility crescione over
So
here.
the PlayStation Showcase started off with a game that was simulated on a PC, and I believe Michaela fell out of her chair after she...
Not just Michaela.
Michaela pleaded when I brought it up on Monday's show about a reveal for Final Fantasy, and she was like, no, God, no.
That was exactly my words.
And not only did we get a Final Fantasy 16 reveal, it started the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
was like, we're kicking the door in. We're here. Let's go.
Michaela dead.
And interesting enough, it was the only one not recorded on a PS5, because that means it's at least 2 to 3 years out.
Oh, five. Let's be real.
Michaela's like, I'm realistic.
No. This is based on math. Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced in 2013 and released in 2019. Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced in 2015 and released in 2020.
I feel like you can't use
Hold on. Final
I
Fantasy
feel
7
like
doesn't
you
count
can't use
because
those
it's technically
numbers,
not
though.
fully out.
Yeah, but the part that they wanted to get out is out. So 5 years they tend to do. I'm hoping it's like 3, but I'm ready for 5, and I'm ready for half of the shit they showed in that meaty trailer to be altered by the time it comes out.
3 gives you enough time to play Borderlands, Remnant.
You think they'll turn the lights
Kingdom
on?
Hearts.
Because it was really dark.
It was fun to see.
I watched that reveal and thought it was like a Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, it's the
expansion.
theme.
I was like,
Yeah,
it's a Final Fantasy 14 expansion.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because of the art style, it's very characteristic, and that's the people that they've got working on it. The producer is Yoshi P, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Not the director, though.
Yeah.
Basically, it's not another Nomura project.
Which is
Next
good.
up,
Is that going to be Final Fantasy branding going forward? Not another Nomura game.
It doesn't matter. People are going to complain no matter what. But yes,
Oh, of course.
15 minutes into this freaking broadcast, I see a chocobo, and I should have alerted my neighbors beforehand because they certainly knew about it afterwards.
There was a loud, high-pitched screech coming from that general area of her apartment.
Just ungodly animalistic sounds.
then we got to see game.
Jeff messaged me about it on Facebook. He's like, there's screeching coming from. I can hear it in Boston.
Across the state.
We got to see gameplay of Miles Morales, the Spider-Man game coming out for PS5, which looks really good.
Does look really good.
Yes.
I thought the interesting thing there was obviously the actual gameplay they showed was against enemies, but they put a large emphasis on saving people.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering like how much of the game mechanics and stuff will involve doing that type of activity rather than just beating people up.
Because I don't know, I might fail at that game miserably if I gotta save a lot of people. I mean, be like, really? Like, is it worth the effort? No. Yeah.
Well, what was interesting, because we haven't had clarification yet, someone created an Insomniac Games parody account on Twitter and was telling everyone that it's a free upgrade if you own Spider-Man on PS4. and everyone fell for it. Like
Oh, yeah.
Everyone.
everyone,
fell for it.
like
Gotta look for the
Subtle misspelling.
like industry, big industry people fell for it.
I saw people retweeting that. I'm like, wait a minute. That doesn't look right.
Oh, it was funny because after I found out it was a dupe, anyone who retweeted it, I had to double check their tweet. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, that's the wrong one. I
Yep.
messaged like 7 people. I'm like, you retweeted a fake account. They're like, damn it. Then next we got to find out what Avalanche is working on, Hogwarts Legacy, which we'll keep out of the controversy. It looks cool. It's
Wait, Avalanche Games?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
this is the
continue.
Just Cause folks doing.
Right, that's what I was saying. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, Just Cause? Like, okay, all right. That's,
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Rico was not present in this trailer, but I hear
It's understandable, but I'm just like, they're doing the Harry Potter, you know? All right.
Looks
all right,
cool.
sorry.
I'm excited for
I
it.
can't wait till Quidditch and Rico comes in with the grappling hook and rips someone down.
I mean, okay.
We don't have to
I-
touch on the
I have to.
okay.
I have to. As someone who's not a Harry Potter fan, fuck this shit, and that's all I'm gonna say.
So it's actually, it's like it's not like it's canon, but it's not like you're playing as Harry Potter. It's it's you're playing
Other people, which is
as
Yeah.
other
fine.
people.
It's the franchise. It's Hogwarts. It's from the woman who has a giant foot in her mouth constantly on social media. And the studio, before the game was announced, was already doing everything that they could to publicly distance themselves from the author.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't work that way.
No, because it still is like she has no creative input
But-
on the one hand, but on the other hand,
On the other hand, she's gonna
It's
make a shit
still
ton of
her
money
idea.
from this. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
difficult situation for people who are really big fans of the franchise to figure out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd hate to see this cause the end of Avalanche because they put out
Just Cause was not good last year. Last year? Was that when
No.
Just Cause 4 ran?
4 wasn't 3 launched had a worse launch than 4.
Yeah. 3 had a worse launch.
It hasn't
than
been
4.
good in a while.
I mean, look, we could make the argument that Just Cause was never really good until the PC mod for the multiplayer came out for Just Cause 2. And then because that was what brought the fervor to a pitch around Just Cause 3, and that dropped the ball. Now, ultimately, I think Just Cause did a lot more vertically than Grand Theft Auto did at the time, but Grand Theft Auto is a different beast now.
Yeah,
And-
it wasn't a vertical
and
game.
then Saints Row the Third sort of played in the same sort of arena that Just Cause 2 was playing in, but ultimately Just Cause 3 stayed the same. Saints Row went away, and Grand Theft Auto was the biggest selling game in the history of recorded civilization at this point. So,
I mean, I'm not gonna.
and no,
deny
that's
that.
not really a fact. I understand.
I'm not gonna deny that Just Cause was poorly. I don't know, poorly made. It ran when it did run though. It was a blast. But they also made Mad Max, which
Mhm.
was
great.
phenomenal. I think it's severely underrated.
That was awesome.
Gideon
yeah,
sings
it's
that
just-
game's praises.
It's
Yeah.
unfortunate for them if this tanks because of
Yeah.
it. And it's not, even if they put out, I mean, I'm not a Harry Potter fan, like a huge one, but yeah. Next, we got to see Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which I'm not going to lie, looked really good. And me and Michaela were talking about it. Someone pointed out it looked like Uncharted in first person, the action sequences.
It did.
It did. I mean, I got to play the alpha, the multiplayer over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty, they're always quality games.
Oh yeah.
It's just, what do you want to get out of it? I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoyed all the Black Ops campaign, like each of the previous games, but I don't know if I'd pay full price.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a big multiplayer.
Yeah.
Not big enough into multiplayer. But that will be on PS5 because it comes out the day after PS5 launches.
I'm pretty sure you can already pre-order it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they put it up, if you pre-order, you get another beta access.
Yeah. I mean, look, Call of Duty is some of the most mechanically sound first-person shooter, on the market. Like it's still just that thing, and it just does it hasn't done anything for me, and I don't know how long. Anyway, continue.
Next up, that small studio Capcom has another entry in that horror series, Resident Evil Village. We didn't get a launch date. We got a 2021.
Resident Evil Werewolves.
Yeah, it's got like a 30-minute show Capcom announced within the last 24 hours. Village and a game that's from this broadcast we haven't gotten to yet, but will in a minute. We'll have a 30-minute showcase at TGS next week.
Yeah. TGS is next week? Jesus, I thought it was in
October.
October.
Near announcements in 3 days and counting.
Wait, what?
Near. There's a Near show in 3 days, and then again in...
What?
What? Yes.
Wait. What?
Hold on to your butts. There's a Near one coming.
Hold on to your butts. We're going to Plaid.
Ludicrous speed! Go!
They've gone to Plaid.
So not to derail it, but I did pick up the Nier Automata vinyl, and I didn't realize that it came with the soundtracks for Gestalt and Replicant.
A lot of the songs are,
very nice.
And
some of those songs are the same.
I spent a good chunk of time at night this week just listening to Gestalt and Remnant. Shit, those soundtracks fucking slap too.
May I real quick?
Yes,
Nier Automata is my game soundtrack of the generation for me.
Ooh.
That's not a bad
statement.
That's a good, I think it's probably top 5 for me.
Okay.
Probably top 5. I won't really go into it, but I think my favorite is probably Crypt of the Necrodancer, followed by Persona 5, then Tetris Effect, then Spelunky.
Ooh, Tetris Effect.
And then Nier
I'm gonna
Automata.
stand near till I die.
That's fine. That's fine. No, you know what? There are worse games you could stand, Michaela.
I was gonna say
There are
worse hills you could die on.
Yeah, yeah. Like me dying on the Melody of Memory Hill that you're gonna buy it. Like, there's way worse hills for you to die on.
Last year
Jason
was so nice.
I listened to that show with
It was
bated
a
breath.
fireside
I got no
chat,
help from
everyone.
Jason at all.
I know.
But-
Jason's like, I know I don't want to die here tonight.
But the lesson I did learn is that Jason and Michaela should basically run Game Club from here on out, because man, that was like the best running episode of this show.
Anybody have more than a passing interest in Resident Evil? I know Jeff always has a interest, but
Yeah, I still need to finish 7 first.
Moving on.
you have to see more Deathloop. Deathloop is, I can't wait for Deathloop.
Looks so
Yeah,
good.
it looks
This
good. It looks
looks
good.
so cool.
Yeah. I will have to say, this showcase made it look a lot better than I've ever seen it look. So I am way more interested after this showcase on Wednesday than I have ever been. Like, I was like, yeah, it looks good. I could play it. But then, like, they showed the reel for it during this showcase on Wednesday, and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm in. Like, I want to pre-order it. You know what I mean? Or whatever. You know, I want to play it as soon as possible.
I mean, this like it appears like you can fail missions and it affects later missions in the game,
Yeah.
like the way they were doing it. Like I feel like everyone's runs will be completely different than anyone else's, which is really cool.
A lot of Hitman vibes here. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I think I don't remember where I said it, but I said like this is basically Hitman Infinite, and I'm happy with that. It looks so good.
Another
Fingers
Capcom
crossed.
game, Devil May Cry 5, is getting a PS5 upgrade.
Yeah.
Plus Virgil, right? Like that's added stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Special.
Special edition. Special.
Yeah, I think because it was just V in 5. It wasn't Virgil, right?
Well, are we doing spoilers?
Mm.
But he
It
had the
doesn't
end.
matter. Go ahead, Michaela.
Yeah, I played DMC5. It was my least favorite game I played that year, secretly. That's now not a secret. I did not enjoy that game.
Okay.
I hate finished it. And yeah, he's at the end.
I hate finished it. Then there's this
Damn.
fucking guy right here.
Damn.
Yeah, that's cool. What was that? That was last year, right?
Yeah, March.
All right, it's been a year. It's fine. It's been a
I
year and a
didn't
half.
play it. I didn't play it on release because it released like a week before Sekiro.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know what you were playing. But anyways.
Next up, which got a lukewarm response from the group last time, Oddworld. Did that change? Or are we still...
Well, no, I'm kind of like simmering almost to a boil with this game. Like I kind of like the Oddworld games. It seems like it's going to be interesting enough. You know, it might be something I pick up and play. I don't know.
You know, I had a good time with the Oddworld games when they came out.
And now we're just in perpetual remasters.
I've not played an Oddworld game. I think I briefly touched Munch's Odyssey when it came out somewhere in the last decade.
Yeah.
And
I think Stranger's Wrath.
Stranger's Wrath
on Switch.
Yeah, Stranger's Wrath I played for a little bit. I think I played it on Vita, of all places.
I feel like I can understand why they're trying to do what they're doing. They're like on their own and they're trying to like build up their like brand, their IP.
Yeah.
You know, for this, you know what I mean? And so it's been like a lot of remasters, re-releases, and now, you know, here's a new game, which is great. Like, it actually makes me want to play it because it looks phenomenal.
It looks cool, but
It looks cool, and it looks like it's got some good game mechanics. And so, you know, I'm excited for it. I'm not lukewarm about it, let's say.
I haven't played Oddworld in 23 years.
Well, that's a problem you might need a remedy, my man.
Abe's Odyssey.
Abe's Odyssey is such a good
Odyssey.
game.
I've got a problem with. I mean, I love the premise of, or the, I shouldn't say the premise of it. I like the aesthetic of the game. I love the characters. Even especially the graphics, the artwork, and this new one look amazing. The problem is I just never been able to get into the gameplay. Like it just feels like.
I was gonna say that might be a problem.
Yeah, it's just. I don't know. It's like Lemmings, right? It's essentially a modern version of Lemmings in a way. It's just like puzzles and like how many of the little guys can you get past the finish line without getting them squished? It's like, well,
yeah.
Yeah, but the lemmings just die. These are characters. They all talk and everything.
They talk, but they still die.
Yeah, that's your
He has a
job.
valid point. A valid point.
Anyway.
Next up is the creepiest trailer of the show, Five Nights at Freddy.
Next.
Gregory.
I watched this and I'm like, I've heard so much about Five Nights at Freddy's and I still do not know what it is.
Jump scare the game.
And I still do not care to know what it is. Like nothing pulls me in.
Next, we got a game that I believe someone already pre-ordered, and I believe 2 people will be playing as soon as they get a PS5. Am I saying this right? Demon Souls?
It's possessive. It's demons, souls. Yes. Yes.
We got to see gameplay.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was,
So
that was a jaw drop moment.
They showed you the tutorial area, and you can mantle in it
Yeah.
now, which
It's gonna be exciting to see Blue Point's twist on From Software's game. I in all honesty, I don't think Blue Point has done wrong, much like Supergiant Games with Hades. They just have never done
don't
wrong.
mention it so much. We're going to break.
Sorry. But anyways,
No, we
I
like it.
kid you not, every time one of you says it, I look to the corner to make
Make
sure
sure it
it's
doesn't
still
crash.
recording.
but anyways,
Every time you mention Hades, it changes
Blue
the
Point,
world tendency, like
you know,
in Demon
Blue
Souls.
I feel like they started their role with like doing they did the Titanfall port for Xbox 360, and then like they got into bed with Sony. I don't know how that happened, but they got into bed with Sony and they did like Gravity Rush Remaster, which I played, which was really good. They did the Nathan Drake collection.
Mm-hmm.
Then they really started hitting their stride and like fucking kicking in some people's teeth with the Colossus, Shadow of the Colossus. Sorry, thank you. And then now they've got this going on, and it's just like, you know what? I'm excited to see what they do. I have Demon Souls on PS3, and I kind of want to play it before I play it on PS5 just to see what the differences are, so I can say, yeah, I noticed what the differences are. But then part of me is like, I don't really care, because like I feel like Blue Point does a good enough job with the games that they are given the chance to remake, because this is going to be a remake. You know, this isn't just a remaster. Like, it is a reimagination with their team and what they do with games that I feel they're going to do a phenomenal job. And to be honest, Studio Japan's, you know, like linked to it. So, you know, they're going to make sure that things are done well as well. So I feel this game might be I think it's going to be different enough for the diehard fans, but not so much that they're going to cry about it. Does that make sense? You know, like I feel that's
the only
where we're
complaint
going.
I've heard so far is the color. The color palette for the game isn't, you know, there's not enough like murk on the screen at the moment. I'm like, well,
But then you're like,
I want to see shit.
I'm like, have you seen it? Like, it looks fucking beautiful. Just take what you get, you know?
So as excited as I am for one of my 10 favorite games of all time being remade, I still have some questions. We did not see the HUD. No one's talked about world tendency, and no one's talked about Estus flasks. So things to remember: Estus flasks were not in Demon Souls.
Right? Yeah, that's true.
You had to grind for healing items, a la Bloodborne.
Yep.
But Bloodborne, I feel, was pretty accessible as far as grinding for them.
True.
Like, you just, you know.
True.
So maybe if they make it a little bit more accessible that way than the way Demon Souls originally was,
I mean,
it could be a better situation. You know, like quote unquote improvements. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a constant improvement onto what they're trying to build upon. You know,
like, I mean, a couple of I would prefer. I mean, I don't. Here's the thing with the way the Souls games are the way the Souls games are set up, Dark Souls on, like I sort of see the progression in terms of like getting an Estus, upgrading it, whatnot. I don't know how you implement that in Demon Souls without ruining the progression. Because
I mean, and maybe they don't.
And maybe they don't. You're right. Maybe they don't. But also, like, a lot of people shit on world tendency. And I think that's one of the things I like the most about it. And I really hope that doesn't go away. But I also think they have to do what they did not do in Dark Souls 2, which is put the password system in.
I feel, if I could just throw in just a little interjection here, I feel how successful Demon Souls is with the community is gonna be whether or not we're gonna see a Bloodborne 2 sooner than later. Because I feel if Demon Souls does really well, I feel Sony is gonna give Studio Japan the green light to do Bloodborne without Miyazaki, which I'm gonna say I kind of have a problem with. But if they can do as good of a job as Bloodborne, then I won't have a problem with. But you know where I'm going? Can you see where I'm going with
I see
that?
where you're
it's
going,
like,
but I would actually do you one better. I think they'll probably just give it the Blue Point.
I mean, they could. They could just be like Blue Point after.
I think I might be imagining this or misremembering, but I think Blue Point wants to do their own IP. I think they want to make their own game.
I would love them to do their own IP. I think they fucking earned it, and I think if Sony doesn't swoop in and buy Blue Point, they're fucking idiots. But anyways, I feel like I would love to see
swooping in and buying stuff.
Later, hold on.
Foreshadowing. But anyways, I feel I would love to see Blue Point do their own thing. I totally would. I really do. I support them. Everything I have played by Blue Point has been phenomenal, and I enjoyed it immensely. So even if it's new IP, I'm on board.
Cool.
So yeah.
Jason,
we got Fortnite.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's a launch title. I mean, you'll have something to play.
At least they kept it short.
Yeah, that's true.
And that
short night.
The announcement for the PS Plus collection.
I am home.
What?
I called the PS Plus collection. I called in the game club last week.
You did.
Which comes with your PS Plus subscription. It includes Arkham Knight, Battlefield 1, Bloodborne, Days Gone, Detroit, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15, God of War, Infamous Second Son, Last Guardian, Last of Us 1, Monster Hunter World, Mortal Kombat X, Persona 5, Ratchet & Clank, Resident Evil 7, Uncharted 4, and Until Dawn.
The only game that matters is Bloodborne.
I just like how you said Until Dawn, the only game that matters.
All playable on PS5 on day one.
Which is that's as if you're subscribed to PlayStation Plus, you get that. Right.
This is a great tactic for getting, more new PlayStation customers onto the platform with plenty to play, right away. It's obviously for hardcore gamers, it's like meh, because like pretty much all of us probably have either purchased all these games, played them already.
Most of them have been PS Plus games already.
Right.
Not all of them. Like God of War obviously hasn't. Days Gone hasn't, but a lot like Bloodborne has. I forget what else was in there, but a bunch of them have been PS Plus freebies before. Ratchet and Clank, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank has. There's 3 on the list.
Last week, I literally said they need to do something about backwards compatibility. They need to say something, and obviously Jim Ryan clarified in that interview he gave and was published the same day as the broadcast about PS4 games 99% are backwards compatible on PS5. But these 18 are, like I said, they need to do a greatest hits collection type of thing for the PS5 console. And this is essentially the same idea. It's not the same games that are actually the PS5 hits titles, but some of them are, again, like Persona 5 is. So very smart on their part. It's not a full answer to Game Pass, which they also, Jim Ryan did an interview, again, talking about how they won't put their games on a day one subscription model like that because it's not sustainable business for them. But this is exactly kind of the thing I had in mind because we were talking about, Jason and I were talking about services and backwards compatibility and what's going to get mentioned in this broadcast. And they essentially did what they needed to do with that information.
Yeah, and like Michaela said, Jim Ryan said it's not sustainable for them. I think people misconstrued that. He said for them. He didn't say it wasn't a sustainable service.
Oh, yes.
And of course, fanboys all flipped out like, oh, but Game Pass works. They didn't knock Game Pass. He just said for them as in Sony.
Mm-hmm.
The problem a lot of people don't remember is the fact that Microsoft has fucking Windows money. So Game Pass is being paid for by Windows money. It's not making money right now. As we speak, you could probably look into it, and it is probably hemorrhaging money. But the fact that they have Windows money is pretty much the reason that they're allowed to do that.
Xbox wasn't even run as like a for-profit business, really,
Right.
until 2017 when Phil Spencer took over, and you get things like Game Pass,
Right.
and you get them with all these studio acquisitions. Microsoft always, and I knew somebody who worked like at Microsoft fairly high up, like he was an ex-boyfriend's dad, and to get that.
That's the weirdest uncle worked at Nintendo situation I could ever think of.
Yeah.
Ex-boyfriend's
Anyways,
dad worked at Xbox.
continue.
And I know for a fact that Xbox was handled as an afterthought.
Right. Well, it was always a we're out here to.
Please tell me
to kill
Jeff heard
Sony.
ex-boyfriend and Xbox went, wow, that's a new meaning for a console,
Mm.
huh?
And like Jeff said, this is geared towards pulling in new PlayStation owners. Because, I mean, I'm sure there's games from PS4 that didn't make this list. But I mean, this is a pretty damn good.
It's not
listed.
every one of their AAA exclusives, like Horizon's not in there, Death Stranding's not in there, but are we going to argue about that one? Uncharted 4.
Well, I think the reason Death Stranding and Horizon aren't on there is because Death Stranding and Horizon are coming to PC. At least Horizon's still rumored, right?
No, Horizon's on PC.
No, Horizon, the first one's on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's
that
there.
would,
They
Hold
just-
on.
why
Yeah.
would they do that? Yeah, that's a smarter move.
But really, if you're new to the Sony ecosystem, you get a PS5 and you get all these games right away. I mean, it's
a deal.
I'm excited
That's
to try. I'm excited. This will make Michaela happy. I'm excited to try Persona.
I'm still working
Hey,
on
I
this.
could try Persona now.
Yeah.
You won't.
It's
You
not
won't.
Persona Royal, though.
Don't
It's
fucking lie.
Persona 5.
Don't
No,
lie.
no.
a very good game.
Hold on. I didn't speak any non-truths. I said I could.
Okay, that's not a non-truth.
what he
You're
does.
right.
It's not a
You're right.
non-truth,
I
but
respect.
it's just like yeah, I'd like to do this again sometime. But like it's like the ultimate lead on.
He tried to make a pact with me. He's like, I'll send you Remnant and you can send me P5. And I said, the difference is I'll play Remnant.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, that's true. That is true, Michaela.
Yeah.
You fucking
Get him.
hold his feet to the fire, and you don't let him lie
Oh.
to you, because he will not play Persona.
I'll try Last Guardian.
See,
But
now
what?
you're trying to change it up. You're trying to change it up.
Last
See?
Guardian's good.
See, anyways.
Anyway,
Then we finally got pricing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Ryan and his little smile said it's $4.99. The other one is $3.99. Fuck off now.
$3.99 for and $4.99 coming out November 12th.
So
2 days after Xbox.
Except
I have to say this just because I think it's funny, yet for some reason now my mind is rewired. Jess at Uppercut said, she tweeted, I cannot read
Diskless.
Diskless without seeing Dickless.
I mean, it's true.
And I can't now. So I keep on wanting to say, well, the Dickless PS5 is.
I pre-ordered a digital PS5.
You pre-ordered a Dickless PS5.
mine has
So-
a dick.
And a boy. No.
And we got a teaser. This wasn't really I mean, it was surprising to see. Kind of, we knew this was
Yeah.
happening. God of War 2. 2021.
Did
That's
they
the
even say?
shocking part.
Did they call it God of War 2? Because I just remember seeing
No.
the symbol.
God of War Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Okay,
it's-
thank you.
Technically, although if you look at the PS5 blog, when they refer to it, they call it the next God of War game or the next God of War sequel. They have not actually physically, officially written God of War Ragnarok, but I'm pretty sure we can assume that's about what it's
Yeah. I mean, it has to, because that's
That's what they're talking about.
spoilers for a
everything
game
leading
that's
to,
like
yeah.
2 years old.
No,
That's
no.
where it's leading.
We don't need to spoil it because that's like an after credits thing. You can leave that.
Yeah.
You don't actually have to technically know that that's where the previous game
Because it's-
actually ends. You can assume it's a connection because of Norse mythology is a theme in the previous one.
There we go.
Loophole. No, the shocking part of that was the 2021. That was
Yeah.
ballsy.
See,
I'm thinking
so-
that'll be second half 2021 because Horizon then will be the first half.
So here, that's the thing. You know, we were watching it, and we had Horizon. From my understanding, Horizon Zero Dawn, the latest game, has been announced that it will be on PS4 as well. Correct? Okay. So that was announced on PS4 as well as PS5, but God of War has not been announced on PS4 as well as PS5. But this is where I'm going with this. Horizon Zero Dawn does not have a date, but God of War does have 2021. So, you know, are we wrong in expecting the latest Horizon Zero Dawn in the first half of 2021?
That's the assumption it's led me to make, for sure.
Okay,
Because
okay, all right.
The other two that Sony on the day of the broadcast confirmed as cross-gens is Miles is also coming to PS4
Yes.
and Sackboy.
Right.
So
Smart.
let's get to the end of this before we do any more like ancillary stuff.
Speculation.
Is there any more, Jason, for this or no?
Mm.
Okay, so people are talking about a broken promise here. Is this a broken promise?
What are you talking about, broken promises?
People were
I
saying
don't have
like,
any
oh
promises.
well, no one's talking about how Sony's breaking promises about making the Miles Morales, Sackboy, and Horizon.
Oh, no. So
I'm just
they
like-
initially said no games on PS5 were going to be backwards. We're cutting it off. Like,
Right. They said they believe
everything
in
on
generations.
PS5 will be
yeah.
on PS5. There will be no quote unquote generational gap. And like, here's my thing. What does it fucking matter to you?
Yeah.
What does it matter if you want to buy this? If you want to buy a PS5 and upgrade to get, Spider-Man Miles Morales and get all the games that are gonna like the Horizon Zero Dawn, fucking get them. What does it matter to you? Basically, what they're trying to do, and I feel it is like they knew. I feel it is all COVID related. It's the fact that they weren't able to produce enough consoles, and they looked at it and they said, "We're fucked." Because not a lot of people are going to be able to get a PS5, so let's do this. We'll put it out, the games out on PS5, but we'll also put them out on PS4. And then the people that have a PS4 are like, well, if I can't get one, I'll get one when I get one. You know what I mean? And the people that can get a PS5 can get a PS5 and play PS5. Just play your games.
I think
It fucking matter. Just play your games.
I think
Doesn't matter.
the minority argument, which is not made because a lot of people are, oh, they just lied.
Yeah.
Those games are being held back because Ratchet and Clank and Demon's Souls are not cross-gen because, well, I don't know about the tech behind Demon's Souls, but Ratchet and Clank is using the SSD for that instant multiverse travel,
Yes.
which can't be done on the PS4.
Right.
I don't know how the tech involves Demon's Souls, but I've heard one or two arguments that like, oh, well, Forbidden West won't be as it'll be hampered because it's being cross-gen. But that's not necessarily true that it's going to be hampered because they could be working on two different.
What if
I
it's
guarantee
built?
the load times are going to be different. The PS4 version versus the PS, because Horizon is one of probably my top 10, if not top 5 games of all time.
Ooh.
So
Bold
high praise on
statement,
that
but I
game.
like it, Cotton.
In a year of 2017, where there was some fucking nutterbutts games, Neo came out, Persona came out, Pyre came to consoles. Some of my favorite games of all time
Breath of
came
the Wild.
in 2017. I haven't played that. Don't yell at me.
I will.
I have never played as
Hey, you
Don't
hush
yell at
up
me.
there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, settle down there, Glasson.
But Horizon was my game of the year when there was Japanese games up the wazoo, and you know what my weakness is. So my game of the year 2017. The load times in that game were almost as bad as FF15's.
Yeah, they were.
Mhm.
Starting Horizon.
Quite frank.
Starting Horizon, just like if you were out
Yeah.
on the menu and you started the game.
Dude,
But
you
But
could fucking start the game and go legit go make a sandwich. Like go make
That
a
is
sa-
15.
like-
You could go make a sandwich, bring it to a neighbor's house, watch them eat it, then come home.
Ratchet and Clank is using the SSD differently than Horizon. I'm not saying Ratchet and Clank is a technologically better game than the next
No, but it's
Horizon.
predicated on jumping.
It's the feature. It's the feature of
I guarantee
jumping worlds
the
real
controller's
quickly.
going to give a different experience. Horizon's going to do something with the controller. Everybody's because it's got the adaptive triggers. That's going to play into the bow combat.
Right.
So it just will be a slightly different experience across gen because of the technology. But they're not going to destroy the game.
Yeah, you're just going to hear that guy from Fringe going, hey, don't you need to go another way?
Right. I mean, I feel I'm not upset with that.
I'm not saying that anybody
in
here
all
would
honesty,
be.
in all honesty, with the shit show that has been the pre-orders,
I know,
Yeah.
That's what I thought you meant about the broken
This has
promise,
been the
to be
worst
honest.
pre-order situation that I've ever seen
Yep.
in my video gaming like lifespan. And
I know Stadia was pretty bad.
well, fuck
Oh,
Stadia.
they forgot to tell people that it was available, so it was the opposite problem.
But anyways, my whole thing is like, okay, well now, as a person that's trying to get a PS5, and if I want to get a PS5, is uncertain about it, I can say, well, you know what? I'll have Miles Morales to play. I'll have the New Horizon to play in the new year. You know what? I'll just wait 6 months until this nonsense blows over and get a console then. You know?
I got a bunch of PS4 games I still need
There's
to play.
and there's that too. There's a lot of games to play, you know? So I feel like they realized the whole COVID affecting their production situation, and they just realized like not a lot of people probably will be able to get a PS5. So let's just you know, like instead of just being like, no, Miles Morales is on PS5 and you can't play it till you get one. Hey, you can play it on PS4 as well. You know, because I bet you money it's built not on a better version of the Spider-Man engine. It's built on Spider-Man engine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just got a little bit of enhancement for PS5. And not saying the same with Horizon. Horizon is probably way further along than Spider-Man is because Horizon came out in 2017, where Spider-Man came out a year later, but it's kind of the same situation. You know what I mean? Whereas in God of War, I feel like they're really building on the PS5 engine. You know?
Right. So did they lie? No, because I think Jim Ryan said they believe in generations, but they didn't. I don't know. People are just
That is the quote,
nitpicking.
though. Yeah.
Like,
That's the quote, but then it's just like, what is? You could also say, what does "I believe in generations" actually mean?
Yep.
And
Nothing to get butthurt about, basically.
yeah,
But play your games.
yeah,
Sit in your basement, your grandma's basement, like I'm in my grandma's house, and fucking play your games.
right.
Okay.
So do we want to talk about Keeley clarifying everything?
No.
Yeah.
I really
Okay.
don't want to give that guy any time of day right now because it's
Okay.
pissed me off.
Pretty much all the information he was confirming is exactly what. So the Sony's PlayStation blog published a comprehensive article of like, here's all the games that were new today. Here's the ones that are going to also be on PS4. Here's the pre-order. They're supposed to go live on the 17th.
But what happened?
Confirming everything that the PS blog posted a few minutes later.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
And
feel
then I posted an hour later because I was working my ass off on Obelisk.
So Glasson, you've been
Yeah.
the most silent during this. What does the most platinum think about the PS5 reveal?
I was pretty happy with the God of War
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
Think
mean-
pre-ordering?
So I'm in the Moose camp. I didn't sign up for the Sony pre-order. I didn't rush out trying to, get the pre-order. If I happen to go on Best Buy and look, I can click the button, I'll probably do it. But
Mhm.
I got plenty of games to play. I'm not getting myself amped up or stressed out over it. But in addition to that, there isn't too much at launch that I'm like super excited about. I'm looking forward to playing Spider-Man, but I'm not playing Demon Souls because correct me if I'm wrong.
you're going to let me backpack you through Demon Souls?
Demon Souls doesn't have multiplayer, does it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
It does. All right,
It was the first one of those.
okay. So maybe I thought Demon Souls was the very first game, wasn't it?
Let's go, Hammer
It was.
Bros.
The reason-
We're getting the
the re-
band back together.
The reason,
They
the
just
reason,
posted the server, like a year ago, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the reason
wasn't long ago.
it didn't change, they didn't do a Demon Souls 2 is because Sony, what was it? Well, Sony published it, but like there was something else. Like it's because they didn't really latch on to From Software the way that I think Shuhei regrets that. But yeah,
Okay.
because
Well,
Bandai
anyways.
Namco ended up publishing Dark Souls.
so there's a
And
maybe. I mean,
Hammer's
obviously, I fell off of Dark Souls 3 pretty hard, and I'm not, clamoring to get back to it. Sorry, Moose. But it's I enjoy the games, but they're not my favorite. But I love experiencing them, and that's yeah. So anyway, I'm excited for the hardware, but I just need, like for me, the ultimate would be playing Cyberpunk on the PS5, right? So it's
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Another thing I hope they don't do to Demon Souls, I hope they don't fix the magic, because the magic was nice and broken in Demon Souls. They need to
Well,
keep
now
that.
they're gonna fix it. Thanks for
Probably.
bringing it
No,
up.
it's this is not a fucking secret. I mean, they also had a duplication glitch that From Software said, yeah, we're not going to fix that.
Yeah.
So, so let's finish going around the horn here. Moose, you're not pre-ordering. I am not pre-ordering. But
Wait. We don't know yet. I don't know. So,
you don't know.
I'm still on the fence. See, my whole thing is like, and I don't think we've talked about it.
Okay.
Is so there's a little game out there called Division 2, and I know there's an update for it, but it's like, can I play it day one? And like Michaela said, 99% of the games are backwards compatible, and it's like, okay, so you're telling me if I get a PS5 and I download the vast majority of my games, I will be able to play on PS5, and there's no list. So it's like, all I have is that 99%. And it's like, maybe my games fall into that 1%, I don't know that, but that's
99%, but they haven't said when, like when.
right. And that's the other thing. Like Michaela brings up a great point. When is it 99%? So it's like, okay, if I can't play the games I'm playing right now, then it's no reason for me to upgrade. I need that confirmation. I need you to say, here's a list of the games that if you bought a PS5 right now and downloaded the games, you're good to go. And I'd be like, check. Nah, this one I could wait for. Check. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something physical. I could go through the list and do my checks and balances and say, yes, it's worth it to upgrade. Or no, you know what? I'll fucking play Miles Morales on PS4, and then in the next 6 months, probably my birthday time in April, buy a PS5 and make the jump, Because my whole thing was like, I was trying to find somewhere I could pre-order to trade in my PS4. Like if I went to PS5, my whole plan was my PS4 is gone. Like I am basically trading that in towards the price of my PS5. And now I don't have, it's very cloudy. The water is very muddy as far as like what I can play on my PS5 from my PS4. And I mean, yeah.
More mud in this water than there was in that Demon Souls trailer.
Yes, which I'm fine with. You know what? Fuck the bitches that are like, oh, it's too clear, it's too clean, it's too crisp. Get the fuck out of here. It's like 2 generations later. What do you want? What do you want? So that's where I stand with the pre-order and the whatnot. I know I am so happy for Michaela that she jumped in. It's her first launch console. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. I did that with the
7
PS2.
years of saving paid off.
I mean,
It's not that long.
it wasn't that long, but I can't wait to hear stories of your excitement. I want to be part of that. Like part of me is like, yeah, I want to be in it, and I should not have waited. Like I got the Sony email and I got the Best Buy email, but I hesitated on the Best Buy email, and obviously they're both gone now.
I can tell you Best Buy was a nightmare. But you keep an eye on Wario 64 if you want to try and catch that digital one, because retailers are going to be having new stock, but it's still going to be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm like an idiot, and I'm like, but I might buy that collection one day that is disc, and I might need to play. I'm still. I don't know.
You may need to talk after this.
Yes, we do. But anyways, so it's just. Do I want it? Do I not? Can I wait? You know what I mean? And Demon Souls, like my love for Bloodborne and Dark Souls and Dark Souls 3 is just kind of like, can I wait? And I don't know. So we'll see.
So Michaela went full dick. Jason went dickless. And so I'm not pre-ordering because I am adopting a child. And I have.
You're adulting. It's called adulting.
I have some other things that I have actually put money away for, and I don't have the funds to put aside for a PS5 at the moment. So that'll be probably coming soon. I'll probably have one by the end of 2021 rather than at launch, and I'm okay with that. So, after the PS5 thing, Nintendo did a thing,
which was nice. It was very
it was surprisingly good.
I'm not saying that like sarcastically. I'm saying like it was a very good Nintendo Direct.
I got yelled at because it was so good. Usually I tell my friends like, oh, there's a Nintendo Direct. The people I know that have Switches, so you should watch this. But the partner mini showcases have been so like, okay, one thing is good and everything else is ass. I didn't bother to tell my friends, and then my friends found out about it. They're like, why didn't you tell me? I didn't know.
So, I mean, I don't have notes on this in front of me. I didn't have notes for the PS5 thing. Does anybody on this?
I remember it.
Okay. Run us through it, Michaela.
For the most part. So obviously Capcom kicked it off for the Monhun fans, confirming a bunch of rumors that we'd all been hearing about with a new for Switch Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter Rise, which I believe that title had actually leaked. Well, two. Give me a minute. I'm going in order.
I'm stuck on our toes, man.
I'll come find you. No. So yes, and then Monster Hunter World Store and Monster Hunter Stories 2 also. They're like, and we have another announcement. And there's gonna be a direct just about Monster Hunter right after this direct.
Which what the hell? It's like and that was some cool shit too, because I stuck around for that. Anyway, continue.
I would like to say, if you wanted to catch up on the direct before the Monster Hunter Direct, you had to wait like way longer than before, like to be able to watch the recap of the original direct.
Yeah.
Because like they kept rolling, they just kept going, and I'm like, son of a bitch. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. We could just click into the live one and rewind. But we're looking at March 26th here. A couple games come in March 26th, and that led to some speculation, and not obviously in the direct, but people are like, March 26th, they've got a couple games releasing. One of them is Monster Hunter. Could this be when we're looking at the Pro type of thing for the Switch rumor that we've been hearing about in a new iteration? There was a bunch of smaller games obviously announced, like not announced, like Rune Factory 5, we already knew that existed, and it got technically pushed to 2021.
Polish is good. Polish is good.
Yep, revealed Disgaea 6. Excited about that. Always want some JRPGs, SRPGs. That's a particularly unique franchise that's been around for a long time, but doesn't release games super often, except for like complete editions. And they actually did the demo, like free version. It's not actually even a demo. It's like a free version of the game for a temporary amount of time to play.
Disgaea 5 is the 23rd to the 30th. It's a full game trial that'll carry over.
What is the other Prini?
Yeah.
That isn't that linked to Disgaea?
Yes, the Penguin.
So those are two games that are coming out next year sometime, right? Or later this year? I don't know.
They're not this year, no.
Okay, so then they're next year, but still, that's something else that's coming linked to it. So just insane.
Yep.
But
obviously we got all excited. Hades, which started off the previous direct. Shadow dropped.
Yeah.
Broke the world.
Yeah.
They have surpassed 1 million copies, including the 700,000 in early access. since it went live on December 6th, 2018, I believe.
Yeah. It was one of those Epic Games things, and
Yep.
I was kind of
that
like,
was
you know
when
what?
Epic Games launched.
Yeah, I was like, I'll wait till it comes.
And then it came to
console.
Steam last
Yeah.
year, and now it's
Yeah.
obviously on console, which is what I played it in early access, but now. Moving on.
If it comes to PS4 or whatever console, I will get it there too because I buy Supergiant games.
Platinum.
Yep.
Anyways.
Obviously, the last thing was Ori. Ori got shadow dropped on the Switch almost exactly a year after the previous Ori got dropped on the Switch. So that was nice, and that big sexy collector's edition.
I was gonna say that. I was just gonna say that's a sexy.
Yeah, that I Am 8-Bit collector's edition is pretty nice.
It's nice. It's very nice.
I think I covered most of it. There might have been one or two smaller things that I might have missed, but that was a basic recap of the mini direct.
I think
the
that's
other one was the Long Dark.
Yeah.
Was released on Switch. That's
Yeah, it's been out on PS4 for a while, but
Yeah.
still, like, you know, worth a look for the look.
okay. And then
today,
Microsoft decided to just flex.
it bought
well,
ZeniMax
they
for
used that Windows
7.5
money.
$7.5 billion.
Yeah.
Couple dollars.
And the internet was on fire with all the rumors of what they could possibly do with this.
Right.
Yep.
I wanted a rumor to be they bought ZeniMax, they fired everyone, they shut down all those IPs. Goodbye.
Yeah.
That means no more Doom.
Yeah, right.
Okay, fine. But
Jason might have a problem with that.
damn it.
With that news happening today, I really feel a lot of things are going to be business as usual, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of exclusivity to the Xbox because Microsoft has already stated they want to get their games are going to be on PC. Their games are going to be on freaking every Xbox that's out there currently. I feel they're going to take the Minecraft approach when they bought Minecraft. For God's sakes, Minecraft is in PSVR right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that would happen if Microsoft didn't know they could make money doing that? No, it wouldn't. So I feel like they're taking the Minecraft approach, and they're not IPs technically that are just theirs. They are IPs that they can make a lot more money on if they have them everywhere. I mean, if you look at the numbers from this gen, Fallout 4, from the last numbers I saw, which might be wrong, but they sold more units on the PS4 than they did the Xbox One. So, you just look at the sales and it's like, okay, well, business as usual. Keep making your games, put them out on all platforms, and we're just going to rake in the cash. You know what I mean? That is my stance on the whole Bethesda thing. And even if they did go exclusive, I don't think it'd be timed.
Yep.
Be like a year. Like we were talking, Michaela brought up, it'd be on, and Jason did, it'd be on Game Pass for a year, and then boom, it's over to other platforms. You know what I mean? So you might have to wait a little bit longer than the regular crowd for your Outer Worlds 2 or, your Wastelands 4, but you'll still get it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, okay, well, I'll go play Sony games until I can get my Bethesda games,
Anybody have any thoughts on the meaning of this deal?
I mean, it's speculation, but I think it bolsters Game Pass and makes them a boatload of money on that, but they'd be crazy to put any exclusivity on. Like Doom Eternal sold 3 million copies to date. It came out in March. 700,000 of that was on Steam. You're gonna lose. It'd be crazy to lose that money. Like because people say, "Oh, well, it's Xbox, so they have PC too." Yeah, they don't have Steam. That's they have
Right.
the Win Store, they have the Game Pass app. It's different. Like Steam's a different, like releasing on Steam doesn't mean they get all the money. Steam's essentially a different console than
Yeah.
releasing in Windows. Like so that's my thought, and not even from so I can still play the games, but it just seems ridiculous that there would be any sort of. I think Xbox's focus is Game Pass, which they've pretty much made clear over the past year, and I think this bolsters it. And they're not. It'd be nuts. I mean, it could happen. Stranger things have happened, but I don't see like a Doom. Like people are like, oh well, Obsidian's next game will be an exclusive, but Obsidian, that's one game. Bethesda, we're talking about Fallout, Doom, Elder Scrolls, Dishonored in a sense because they can make more. If they have more Rage, like these are multiple huge property, like well known. We're not talking about one studio, one new game.
Yeah.
So
even though Outer Worlds knocked it out of the park,
and
shout out to Obsidian.
And I know Phil Spencer said it's a case by case, but Phil Spencer's not. He's good at his job. He's not going to come out.
He's protected Microsoft.
Yeah, because if
he's not showing the cards yet.
Because it could be something like beta access is only on Xbox, or there's DLC that's timed exclusive, or stuff like that. But you don't want to say it now when the next Doom might not be for 2 years.
All you Bethesda modders, you can only mod on Xbox.
The one thing I want to say is we're talking about the implications for Xbox a lot and how this is a Game Pass boon for them and getting their software with the previous multi-plat IPs out onto other environments besides their own. But the implications for Bethesda are the bigger question mark here. Like, we know what this does potentially for Xbox. Yeah. We also know Bethesda has struggled with multiple launches in the past couple years. Whether you enjoyed the games or not, financially, critically, they've been having some struggles. Mm-hmm. I don't need to name names. We all know certain games I'm talking about. But does that mean they were in trouble? Does that mean they want to bring in new blood? Does that mean that they were looking for some sort of partnership? Like, what put them in the position to be acquired for $7.5 billion? Also, things people are not talking about as much, but has gotten mentioned. What are the implications of this for something? Not so much like Deathloop is obviously Sony exclusive, Ghostwire Tokyo, Sony exclusive. But what about ES6? What about Starfield? Does that mean these games are really, really far off? Do they need additional funding? Are they being developed? Is Xbox going to step into that? Or are they closer? And that's why part of Xbox motivation to get those games to their ecosystem faster, sooner, better, stronger. So the Xbox implications seem a little bit more, we can kind of tell why they did and what they'll get out of it. Bethesda's the bigger question mark.
Agreed. I don't know how to answer any of those questions.
Exactly.
But also, I think the one thing that bothers me about the whole thing is the more. Look, I'm not going to say Microsoft shouldn't do something like this because we live in a capitalist society. Corporations go and do what corporations go and do, and this asshole in Philadelphia has no real say in it. But I do think it becomes a problem when big chunks of an industry are starting to be owned by less and less people. Mm-hmm. I think you look at this is one of those things where you could compare to movie industry and like the fact that, the Paramount case stated that studios couldn't own theaters and things like that, and draw your parallels. But now it's going to be, you could perceivably infer that it's going to be open season on the big publishers.
And that's kind of been Twitter's annoying reaction. Like, hey, Sony, buy insert
Konami.
Yeah.
buy Konami, buy
Buy
Capcom, buy
Ubisoft, buy, you know,
Yeah.
and like, but see, there's the logistical problem. Sony doesn't have that money. Like, I don't care. I don't care how good the PS4 generation was to them. They don't have 7.5 billion to throw around to buy.
How much did they buy Insomniac for last year?
I don't know.
The thing is, one thing I want to say is the thing that hangs me up a little bit on Bethesda, and again, I'm not like mad about it because I said this earlier in our chat, I have no skin in this game. I don't own a single Bethesda game. I'm not personally worried about the future of my beloved franchises. You know, but they are a multi-platform dev. You have certain developers like Insomniac Games or like a Bluepoint who are now mostly putting their stuff on Sony's environments exclusively. And so that sort of an acquisition makes sense. It doesn't change the publishing rights of these games. Whereas if you take a multi-plat vendor or like developer and then put it under a hardware producer, that's where you're going to get some strain, some tension, some fanboyism, some console wars, because people are concerned about, you know, like you were kind of talking about with the monopolizing of these franchises, of these IPs into certain publishing spheres.
Right, they bought, it's not just, like you said, Sony bought Insomniac. Microsoft just bought 6 studios. People, like you hear ZeniMax, but that's id, Arcane,
Ninja Theory. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about all the other ones they bought.
Machine Games, Tango.
Yeah, Tango.
ZeniMax Online Studios, and Bethesda Softworks.
Yeah. Bethesda Softworks is basically comparable to CD Projekt Red at this point.
So Insomniac, Sony bought Insomniac for almost 230 million.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a drop in the bucket next to like 7.5 million. But here's my other thing, and a lot of people don't like bring up, is Microsoft has zero fucking market in the Asian market. Like they have like the only reason a Asian game like Phantasy Star, whatever, the only reason that's exclusive to Xbox for a certain amount of time is because they paid Windows money. Nobody in Japan is buying an Xbox to play that game. You know what I'm saying? So like Persona 5, even though Atlas has that, like you will always see JRPGs on a PS5 or a PlayStation console first. And like you look at the Asian market, it is way bigger than the American market. And that's the thing. Like a lot of people are like, oh, well, Xbox is going to win. Maybe in America, but they're not going to win worldwide. Yeah. Like they're not doing even the numbers that that Sony is doing in the UK, or even Europe for that matter.
See, they're not doing that right now, but we're talking like they made this purchase at the beginning of a console generation.
Right, which is what I'm saying. Like they're trying to swing it the other way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if they're smart and they realize how things really work, if they don't come out and say exclusivities on our consoles, then that's not going to do anything for them.
Xbox still does some weird stuff though with the Japanese markets. Now that you bring that up, like Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon, is timed exclusive, isn't it, for Xbox?
I believe.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and they just moved. Like Xbox added a bunch of over the past year or two, a bunch of Final Fantasy games, a bunch of the Yakuza games. It seems they're still trying to tiptoe into that market where it's like your kind of point. They should just focus on where they're good at. Like they have a consumer base, but they're still tiptoeing into. And I feel like Square Enix changed things for a little while. Like FF15 released PS4 and Xbox One, and now people are like, FF16 exclusive Sony since when? And I'm like, since FF7? Forever. FF15 was the hiccup in the bucket, and something tells me that Square isn't going to do that anymore because it didn't go well on Xbox. So, but Xbox still tries to do a little.
Well, they got. So what was funny is like when they had their announcement for the Dragon Quest 11, like, but it came out on PS4 like the same day. It's like it's not a world, like it was already on Switch. Now it's on everything else. I don't feel like they just need their main problem is, and they're rectifying this. And that's what I'm trying to get to say is the fact that they're trying to fix the fact that the only thing people fucking play on an Xbox is Halo, Gears, and maybe if people have enough money to buy an Xbox One X to play the third-party games in the best experience that they can get. But I will bet dollars to donuts. I'll bet my next paycheck that every person that I talk to that I say, do you have an Xbox or a PS4? They say they have both. And the reason they have both is because they buy it for the Sony exclusives, and then they have an Xbox just to maybe play the occasional Halo, or if they have an Xbox One X to make things look the best, which is in all honesty, is negligible. But like, I think that's where Microsoft is going. They're like, well, we need to bolster our software. You know what I mean? Like, we can't just, like, for God's sakes, the console is launching without Halo Infinite. Are you fucking kidding me? You've already guaranteed that I'm not buying that box. You don't have Halo. You don't have Gears. There's nothing on your box that I want to buy. But I look at Sony and I have Demon Souls. I have a new Spider-Man.
Old game.
Possibly a Ratchet and Clank.
That's launch window, so yeah, if you want to call that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and so there's no reason for me to make that jump to an Xbox. You're not selling me your console. Anyway.
But see, I mean, you say that, but Xbox does have Game Pass.
Yes,
they are both marketing old games or games that have just come out for free.
Right. They do have Game Pass.
But Game Pass, you don't need to upgrade to an Xbox Series whatever for that if you already have
I'm just saying things. I'm not like
you could say old games, but
right.
Motherfucker, Demon Souls looks fucking good. You could say that's an old game. I
never said anything to the contrary.
Till the cows come home.
I'm talking about
a better looking old game. And Miles Morales is not necessarily an old game.
Get excited about slaughtering and
what?
Cows, Jeff, machine gun from a helicopter, slaughter burgers
cows
for everyone.
Is that Tropic Thunder? I don't know what this is.
No, it's what was that? That was Wildlands.
Wildlands, yeah.
Wildlands.
It's funny. I've actually been thinking about going back to that game recently.
Sounds like Wasteland is on the brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
just.
So
I think Microsoft is making a lot of good moves, which is good because it pressures Sony to make better moves.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see this as a negative. I love Bethesda games. Skyrim is like number 3 on my list because it's got a special place in my heart. It's like it fights with Bloodborne on a daily basis if it's my number 1 game of all time. But anyways, I want to see more Bethesda games on on Sony consoles. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I feel Microsoft is way smarter to keep their games on multiple platforms than to just be like, no, now they're console exclusive.
Right.
They're not that dumb.
But they don't have to.
Right. I'm not saying they don't have to put them out on other consoles, but I know, like, if Phil Spencer is going to Microsoft to say, I want to keep Microsoft, the Xbox, division alive, and Microsoft, the legit Microsoft goes, well, what are you going to do for us? How are you going to bring money in? And he says, we're just going to put all our games on all platforms. That's the answer. If he says, no, we're going to keep all the developers that we bought are only going to be on Xbox, they're going to be like, well, that's not going to bring us in enough money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But again, since the fucking Xbox 360, there's been talks that, you know, Microsoft has been wanting to close down the Xbox division. So, and that hasn't happened. So you never know, you know?
True.
Just throwing it all
So
out there.
that was a lot of shit. I need to get out of here.
You're not the only one, you know.
I am going on fumes in a way that I do not understand at this point. And does it Jason, Michaela, Jeff?
Mhm.
Jeff. Do you have any final thoughts here?
I'm excited for the next gen. I'm actually kind of excited about Xbox 2 and just the whole premise with the you know,
Xbox 2?
yeah, the Xbox 2. You guys didn't hear that? You didn't see that launch? Xbox Series DOS.
Xbox Double X.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the Game Pass thing really intrigues me. You know, it allows you to just try a lot of things that you never wanted to buy. You know, particularly wanted to just spend the money on and take the risk on, which is fantastic. But it's still, I still am so addicted to trophies that it's just like I play Wasteland 3 on Xbox. I'm like, oh, I got an achievement.
Got a trophy.
It's like I could have had a trophy.
I got an achievement. Oh my God, I'm so dirty.
I could have had a V8.
What?
But I mean, you know, $25 or $35 a month. I mean, for people that want to get into that, you know, ecosystem and not have to plunk down a whole bunch of money, that's a great value proposition. But
Word.
But my poor Switch, you know, it's like, that's the dilemma. It's like,
How much dust you got on that thing right now?
I know, right? It's like, well, I did play several hundred hours of Animal Crossing, so it's taking a break.
It's kind of evened out a little bit. He went so hard the other direction. Now he's like correcting by not playing anything.
His Switch is hibernating and needs to recover.
Well, what's funny is now that I'm playing Wasteland 3, I'm like, oh, I should go back and play Mario versus Rabbids, because it's, you know,
Strategy.
I'm playing that.
Rabbids is a very good
turn-based
game. Mario versus Rabbids, very good game.
So it's kind of like, you know, it's the kiddie version of the turn-based strategy. But
well, see, you start there, then you go to Into the Breach, which you can play on Switch, and you're just off and running.
Yep.
Jason, any final thoughts out of you?
Nope.
He's like, I've been sitting listening to you guys.
He's
yell
got
for a half
his
hour.
digital
I'm good.
edition PS5. He don't give a fuck.
I'm going dickless. I've got it. Michaela, any final words out of you?
Console wars are dumb.
Thank you.
Everyone be excited. Everyone who loves games has something to look forward to. So if you would rather bitch at people on Twitter, get a life.
Word.
Yes.
Moose, take us out of here.
Bye.
At Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fund culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PO Nation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXOD merch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Ray Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely queen of the guild, always say, #RiseAbove. Thank you for listening to Story Route Zero. We hope you have enjoyed your time here as much as we've enjoyed having you. Once again, questions, concerns, complaints, pictures of pets, or favorite recipes can be sent to storyroute0@gmail.com. You can yell at us on Twitter @StoryRoute0. Rate us and review us on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you may have found us, as it helps with discoverability. If you'd like to hit us up individually, you can find Moose Cruel @Sven, that's SVHENN on Twitter, PSN, Instagram, and of course Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall writing at obelisk.co. You can also find him on Twitter @GimpyJ with 2 Y's at the end, as well as PSN, Instagram, and Twitch. He also has his own website, whereisthepausebutton.com. You can find Michaela Crescione doing all sorts of writing at obelisk.co, as well as on Twitter @RedXMod. My name is Matthew Keel. You can find me everywhere I'd like to be @infinite_rewind. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, that's PSN, and I also have my own website, infiniterewind.com. Be sure to check us out at all the places. You are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. Thank you for listening, but for now, it's back to the real world for us. So we will see you on the next one.